The jump starts now, thanks, of course, to Hungry Jacks. It's Andrew Gazey, Leonard Copeland and Kane Pittman, the regular crew here on a Wednesday night after your hoops. Of course, ESPN, the home of hoops. And we have a big show coming your way. We're going to speak to Gary Browne in just a moment, but there's plenty to talk about your boy, Josh Giddey, doing fantastic things as well. We've got Rayjon from Melbourne United also set to join us. But let's get into Gary Browne, because I believe he's all ready for us, of course, from southeast Melbourne, Phoenix. Congratulations, Gary, on the win tonight. A massive one considering what happened on Monday night. What did the coach say to you after that game to kind of motivate you guys and turn the tables tonight?
I think, I don't think the coaches, they did a pretty good job by letting us know, like, who we are as a player and as a team. Of course, we got, like, a couple of injuries, so we weren't ourselves in the last couple of games. So, he did a pretty good job by reminding us what was the reason of why we are who we are. So we understand our situations that we're in, because we put ourselves in that situation. So nothing, we got to approach every game like it'll be like our last game.
And Gary, but one of the things that has been noticeable with your team is the inconsistency, particularly on the defensive end. And yes, you've had some personnel out, but today that seemed like that right from the first tip that you really made a greater attention to detail to that, considering the challenges you had last time you guys were in Tasmania.
No, yeah, again, I think the only reason I think we really went on that drought of not winning game is because we didn't have the personnel. I think I think we proved to be in the top 3, top 5 when we have everybody healthy. So it plays a huge part of us being healthy. I think everybody in the league plays pretty good defense. I don't think there's a team that doesn't play defense, but because of the style of the game over here, it's a little bit different. They play by percentage a lot. So I don't know if you take that as a compliment that we play defense today. Like, we don't play defense in all the games. It's just, we play collectively.
And Gary, you spoke about injuries. Tell me what your body feels like right now.
I'm a little bit okay. I was out for like 3 weeks, so going into the heat, last game got me a little bit tired. But now, I'm getting back in myself, and also the coach is doing a pretty good job managing the minutes that I got to be in the game. And also, like, the bench did a pretty good job today. I think Junior did a pretty good job, Ruben, Dane, everybody, Kizza. So I think it plays a huge part of everybody getting a good rest. The only guy that maybe that doesn't get a good rest like that is Creaky, but we're finding a way when everybody's playing well.
Now, Gary, how's your relationship built with Big Sauce on the court? Earlier in the season, I asked you about this, and you said that he's costing you assists. But how has that relationship built and playing with an old-school big man that likes to get to work in the paint?
No, Sauce, it's my guy. I love him. I count on him on both sides of the end. It's just, I feel like, when you're a good guard, you feel like you want everybody to make a shot when you pass it, because you work hard to create for them. So, sometimes they never been in that situation, so they don't understand it as much as I do. But at the same time, you know what? I can't blame anymore. I gotta blame the people at the table, man. They keep messing up the stats every time. I can't even blame them anymore. I've been on them the whole time, and most of the time, I watch a lot of basketball, so I got synergy, I got instat, and the instat and synergy don't miss. They get the right assist, but over here, apparently they don't. So I'm gonna have to do this time. I can't throw my guys under the bus. I'm gonna throw the stat people.
Hey, no, Gary, you're doing some splendid thing, and you've got a few games left, and have to be focused. But down there in Tasmania, it's a happening city. Any chance to just celebrate a little bit while we're down there?
Nah, man, nothing to celebrate, man. We got to win a couple of games so we be in the postseason. We'll celebrate that.
Good man.
But I appreciate that. It's hot, though. I got to say, it feels like Puerto Rico. It's hot. It's hot, man. But it's good.
It certainly is. Well, go and have a well-deserved rest. Thank you so much for joining us on The Jump, and congratulations. Best of luck for the next couple of games.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Good on you, Gary.
Gary, Browne, they're from southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They're, of course, snapping a 5-game losing streak. They're back on the winners board. And, of course, Copes, it was Mitch Creek who was at the forefront again.
He's been fantastic the whole year. Look, and he put this team on his back and carried them. I mean, what did he have, 21, 22 points tonight, 11 rebounds. He's the man to go to. Strong, does it all. MVP race.
Yep. Well, he's right up there, isn't he? And don't be surprised if he actually picks up the award. The only thing that's really hurting him now is this tough run of games that they've had, losing so many. Always hard to get the nod. But if we take a look at the ladder, there you see how bunched up it is. That's how big it is for the southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and that's tough times for you with Melbourne United just getting
I'm so nervous, Gazey.
But still plenty of games to be played. And you know, the Adelaide 36ers, they've got some heavy lifting to do. So it's going to be a real tough race, not just for those positions of making the 6, but look at the top as well. Trying to get into that 3 or 4 game. Actually, the New Zealand break is still... Now, it's going to be a long way to get there. They need to rely on the Cairns Taipans slipping up a little bit, but that's still a battle to try and for that second spot as well. So it's not just about making it, it's about where you are, because if you get into that 3rd or 4th place, you get that extra chance, which would be big.
And you mentioned the Adelaide 36ers there, but Kane, they face Melbourne United twice. So basically that series is going to decide who gets in, I feel.
Well, it's in their hands, but also the other thing you have to take into account is that for a team like Adelaide, they're not just trying to jump Melbourne. They now have to jump southeast Melbourne as well and hope they lose some games. So Adelaide are behind the 8 ball out of these 8 teams. But you're right, Nat. It's in their own hands. Beat Melbourne. Take care of business.
And it's fair to say that the Adelaide 36ers haven't really lived up to the hype of the pre-season. There were some pretty lofty expectations on them. And, well, part of that was due to this man.
Obviously, you signed for Adelaide for next season. What are your expectations going into that?
To go win, just bottom line. I think it's a championship or bust year. So, you know, that's just the mentality. Going out there and just trying to go help Adelaide win a championship.
So that was Robert Franks in July last year, basically saying championship or bust. What are we feeling at the moment? Because is the pressure on CJ Bruton, Copes?
The pressure's on. I mean, at the end of the day, when you go over to America and beat an NBA team in the preseason, everyone expects you to come here and be the champions. Now, they haven't done that. They've had their injuries, they've had their problems in the locker room, but there's still plenty of talent on their team, and they should be playing.
I have no problems, though, with what Robert Franks said.
No, none whatsoever.
You go out there and, hey, in their eyes, it's probably been a bust. So I think if you go in there thinking, geez, you know what, I hope we limp in and we finish 4th. Yay, go Adelaide. I mean, that's not going to work either. So you've got to set your standards as high as you possibly can. So I have no issues with what Robert Franks said.
Well, it is a bumper weekend of basketball coming your way on ESPN. Of course, the home of hoops. Let's take a look at what we have coming your way. Thursday night, of course, the New Zealand Breakers and Illawarra Hawks. A hoop fest. Yes, I should have gone with that. But Kane, what are you most looking forward to when you survey round 16? Just peruse through this for us.
Well, there's plenty of good games. The one that we've already discussed and the one that we have to be looking at is going to be Saturday night, of course, on ESPN, Adelaide 36ers and Melbourne United, because the facts are if Adelaide lose this game, they're at home, you can basically scrub them. They're not going to make it. And for Melbourne United, the Phoenix just took care of business, which puts the pressure back on their crosstown rival. So United, it's a must-win for them as well.
And what about Sydney Kings and New Zealand Breakers as well? Because New Zealand, it looks like, are we writing them off now for top 2? Can they still get back in and knock Cairns out?
You know what? If I'm in that position, I don't want to show my hand. You know what I mean? Because playoffs, they're going to be in the playoffs. If I'm New Zealand, I want to get to the top 2. But if I don't, I'm not worried about it because I know eventually the way they play, they're going to be.
I think it's unlikely. They're going to rely on Cairns losing, and Cairns' run home is not terrible. I mean, what is a good run? It's so tough. You even look at the Illawarra Hawks, what they're doing now as well, and the Brisbane Bullets, they got a good win. So there's no easy games. But the fact that now New Zealand are relying on Cairns to drop a couple, that's going to be tough. And New Zealand, they're not peaking at the right time either. I think they're a high quality
one scorer, though.
Of course, that's a big asterisk next to it. But still, you know, the good teams find a way, and I really like their team. If they get healthy, like you say, Coach, when it comes to the finals, I think New Zealand Breakers and the Sydney Kings are the 2 best teams. But that's again showing absolutely complete and utter disdain and no faith or trust in Cairns, which is not true. I think the Cairns have proven with the wins that they've had this season that they are worthy contenders.
Oh, we've got some amazing basketball still to come in the coming couple of months. Cannot wait. Of course, Melbourne United, as we spoke about, they can barely afford to slip up at this point, and we caught up with one of their stars in Rayjon Tucker earlier tonight, and I started by asking him about the mindset of the team heading into what is a massive 3 weeks.
Just to keep playing the same basketball that we've been playing the last couple of weeks. We've had a great chemistry about us, and we finally got all our pieces together. Just keep playing the same way we've been playing. Stay focused on, the task at hand, taking one game at a time.
Hey, Rayjon, when you cast your mind back a couple of months and things weren't going as was expected for Melbourne United, how was it amongst the group? Were you deep in the daily meetings? Was it a difficult time for the club?
Oh, it's never good when you're losing. So, we had our talks. As a team, we got together and was trying to figure out some things that we could do to, better the team individually and together, coaching staff and player-wise. It took a little minute. We had missing pieces, got Shaylee back, got Marcus Lee in, and those two were great additions to, just help the team, get to where we needed to get to.
Rayjon, look, we wanted to have you on the show a long time ago. When you were playing, you weren't playing so great, but now you're playing super basketball. What changed for you, though, personally?
I think just getting used to the style of basketball over here is completely different than, what I'm used to in the NBA. We're playing with a lot of space, and this league is a high IQ league, high scouted league, and, they force you to shoot the basketball. And, with being in the league, they don't necessarily force you to have to shoot the basketball because you play with so much space. So, I just dialed in that FIBA break just to get my shot in. Reese Carter, D-Mac, they helped me out. Just, really just getting in the gym and just polishing me all the way around so I could change the scout report on me. So just to help my teammates out. And, it's been working. So.
Rayjon, I caught up with Dean Vickerman last week and asked him what the mindset has been when you're 5-10, and he said you guys have been playing with freedom. What changes now when you went from a position where the playoffs looked unlikely and now you're in a situation where you've got where you wanted to be, but every game carries the pressure?
We still play with that same desperation. We came from being that 5-10 team, like you said, and I don't think losing is on any of our minds, and we don't want to have those feelings again where, we're down in the dumps. So just, taking every game seriously. We've been in playoff mode for a minute now, and just to stay in that mode and just keep doing what we're doing.
Hey, Rayjon, when you first came out here, you were pretty confident about your ability to perform, and we've seen it recently. When you first came over here, did you perhaps underestimate the league a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say I underestimated the league. I think I may have just, had to figure out the league in a sense. It's kind of like just anything else, just figuring out what's going on. I probably just didn't realize how much of a difference it was going to be, just with, the spacing and everything, and, how everything is called and just the rules and just the whole game in itself. I just had to figure it out. And I guess I've been doing pretty well at that one.
My word, you have.
In terms of figuring it out, can you talk about the role, I guess, your coach, Dean Vickerman, has played in that? And we've seen him in press conferences. He's been very public in criticism of certain players and the like. But have you had those really direct conversations with him throughout the season to kind of get you to where you are now?
Oh, definitely. Those were, big conversations that we had early on in the year where he was telling me that, I need to get in the gym and I need to shoot the ball and I need to shoot the ball better and just to work on my game and add different things to my game. And, I didn't take it as him trying to get on me or, him being a downer. I just took it as him knowing what I could do and how I could help the team. And, he's definitely been a big role in my confidence. Giving me the green light to, just play my game and shoot the open ones and, just be a playmaker for the team.
Rayjon, after practice, what does Rayjon do? I mean, what tell us about your life after basketball. What do you do?
After basketball, man, I come home, I chill with my cousin. We watch movies, TV shows. We might play a little video games. I like going to movies. I went to a couple premieres out here. You know, I might hit the beach, get a little tan. You know, I'm a big foodie. I like to eat. You ask anybody around me, like, food is like #1 priority. I gotta fuel the body. So, you know, I do a little bit of everything, escape rooms. It just depends on how I feel throughout the day.
Have you got a favourite eatery in Melbourne yet? Is there a place that you go quite often?
Right now, I have to say it's Chappelle's. Like, Chappelle's or Nando's. Like, one of
Yes,
those.
Chappelle's.
Yes, on Chapel Street.
I used to go there after a night
very
out and
nice.
get pancakes
After a
and
night
nachos. They were 24
I'm
hours.
telling you, Chappelle's is a good spot for sure.
One place you're not going to the beach, though, is Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And you played for the Wisconsin Herd in the G League. Under Chase Buford, Jalen Adams was on that team. You guys were absolutely flying during that G League season. What are your memories of playing under Chase, playing alongside Jalen Adams, and perhaps, let us in on the Oshkosh nightlife?
You know, Oshkosh nightlife. But just, you know, playing under Chase, he's a big players coach. He goes to bat for his players. He instills the ultimate confidence in his players through and through. It doesn't matter if you're playing 30 minutes or 3 minutes. He gives you the freedom to, you know, play your game. Playing with Jalen, you know, he added that competitive spirit and just, you know, being that big brother to me and just helping me on the court and things that he saw that I could do better and telling me to keep going and just helping me with little things just within my game, him already being in the league a couple years. So, it was good. It was great for me. I only played like 15 games with them that season before I got called up to the Jazz, but, you know, we ended up being the best G League team, having the best G League record. So, you know, I really enjoyed that team a lot.
Hey, and now the way you're playing, Rayjon, you need a nickname. Now, you probably already got one. How can we hype you up with a nickname? Have you got one already, or do we need to create one for you?
I mean, other than Tuck, you know, everybody calls me Tuck. Everybody calls me the Flight, you know.
Oh, yes.
For my jumping abilities, you know,
Yes.
I got the rocket ship on my leg. So, you feel what I'm saying? You know, we could go with that, or y'all can come up with another one. You know, I had in a Pro-Am league, they used to call me the Mortician. So, it's, you know, it's different little things I done had. But, yeah, the Flight is definitely the main one for sure.
I reckon
Nice.
the Flight is way better than the Mortician.
I think you roll with that. That's
Yeah.
fitting too, because it gets up, plays above the rim. Love it.
And just before we let you go, Rayjon, I just wanted to ask, dreams still to head back to the NBA at this stage?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, but I'm taking it day by day. You know, my main focus is here with my team and, you know, getting a championship here. So I'm just, you know, like I said, taking it day by day. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. But, I just want to get this, you know, playoff berth, hopefully a championship, and we'll figure that out when that time comes.
Fingers crossed for you as a Melbourne United fan, very much so. Good luck over the next 3 weeks, and hopefully we see you in the playoffs. Thanks so much for joining us on The Jump.
I appreciate you guys for having me.
Smooth operator is
very
Rayjon Tucker. I like it.
Smooth,
Who
huh?
was the smoothest operator back in your day?
Easy. It was Smooth Leroy Loggins.
Why smooth though?
Because he was silky smooth, the way he went about it with that lefty hand, just whack, and he just come back and he'd destroy her in so many different ways. Smoothly, Copes.
Okay, smoothly.
I reckon you were pretty smooth.
I reckon I was pretty smooth,
Now, here's
but I don't want to pick me.
You
I don't
were.
wanna pick me. I'm gonna
Smooth
say,
on Chapel Street
I'm
at
gonna say-
Chappelle's at 3 a.m.
That's
how do you know about your Pellies? You were there, huh?
I was right next to you. Hey, there is still plenty more to come on The Jump. Make sure you stay with us. Josh Giddey had a day out against
Oh, my
the
goodness.
Nets. What is his ceiling? Plus all the latest on the
Outrageous.
NBA trade as deadline day approaches. Don't go
doing a bit of everything.
there.
Making the leap.
Rebounding.
Uncontested. Giddey. Smooth delivery from Josh Giddey.
This set happening in Madison Square Garden. New York Knicks all day. We're not playing, man.
Julius Randle, he is a star now.
The Knicks fans, they want wins. That's what we're trying to bring.
New York, we here.
The New York Knicks are back. It's fantastic for the NBA, and we need to talk about trade. And of course, the date that should be in everyone's calendar is Feb 9. That is NBA trade deadline. And Kane, you are our man all about trade and the NBA. So I want to get to you. Do the New York Knicks have their eye on a certain Chicago Bulls star?
Are you talking about Zach LaVine? Because the Chicago Bulls are a team that are underperforming, and they might be in a position where they want to move on one of their star players. But as far as the Knicks go, they're 25-20 right now, and they are 1 star short, which just makes me think, Gazey, about why didn't they go all in on Donovan Mitchell for the offseason when they had the opportunity to get this man?
And look what he's doing in Cleveland.
That's right.
He's a superstar. And but you know, there's a lot of the goes. You know, they picked up Brunson. Brunson's been a great pickup for the Knicks. So I think you're right. They've made some significant improvements, but they've still got a bit to go. And I'm not so sure whether Zach LaVine would be the. To me, I'm not sure he's that one guy that's going to take them to the next level. Very good player, I might add, but when you think about taking a team to the next level, I just don't know whether that would be the right choice.
And also, I think you can't bring a guy in there that's going to be a ball hog either. They got superstars already. Randall, who's playing well, Brunson, who's playing well. You bring a guy in who needs the ball too much, then it hurts the whole team.
We now look an Aussie lens on the NBA. What about Matisse Thybulle? Should he be making a move?
It's been interesting because he is in line to hit restricted free agency at the end of the season, and he's been largely pushed out of the rotation. The Sixers picked up DeAnthony Melton, PJ Tucker, a number of players that have kind of taken his minutes this season. So I don't know whether he's in a position to really be traded anywhere. He's only got around $4 million on his rookie contract. So I don't know if he's going to be... Gazey's just...
Oh, no, I had some... Well, here's some...
Gazey's just sitting here ruffling his pages around.
To back up what you're saying.
Just trying to get some serious info down the lens.
No, but I just want to add to that.
He's smooth with it, too.
The serious down the lens stuff, because started last year 50 games, only started 6 this season, was 5 points, almost 6 points a game, only 2.5 points a game. But here's the big kicker, 25 minutes a game last season, 12 this season. He's not in the rotation. I think the fact that they're looking for a little bit more offense with his shot. We know he's an elite defender, and we know he's an Aussie with a bronze medal as well.
Is that why he's all over?
We love what he's able to do. But he's one of those ones you're thinking that if I'm the Sixers with his value, you're probably going to get something for him. And it might be the time for both parties to say it's better if we go our separate ways.
I like that you did some research there.
Thank you.
Did some stats. I want to talk about OKC. We'll get to Josh Giddey in just a moment. But Kane, before we get to you and what they might be able to do to make a push for the playoffs, let's hear from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on what he makes of the prospects of OKC.
Like, we know we won 24 games all of last year and like 22 the year before. And we know we're getting better. And I think guys are kind of getting addicted to the feeling and just trying to be better every day. I think every day we try to get better, and every game we try to do what we can to win a game. And because we've gotten better as a team and as individuals, we've won more games. And I think that's all we focus on, and we'll see where that takes us.
So, Kane, how do they fast-track their push? What do they need to do?
I don't know if they need to fast-track just yet. They're just ahead of the curve. They've got that man locked in for a number of years, and Josh Giddey at the end of next season could potentially be in line for a $200 million extension.
Oh, my goodness, what?
And this is a franchise that has 15 first-round draft picks up until the 2029 NBA draft. They've got Chet Holmgren, the number 2 pick from last year, that has not played a game yet and is out for the season with injury. So if I'm the Thunder, I am just holding tight for at least the rest of this season. There's no need to go all in right now.
I agree with you 100%. The fact that they got 15 draft choices coming in, let them get to know each other, give them some time to grow, and let that team stay together for a while. They win some.
As long as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's there, because he has gone from a really, really top-level player to one of the best in the league, and the combination that he's developing with Giddey, and I think they're absolutely spot on. This is a team that is so young that you've got to bide your time for them to mature, and the natural growth in the players there. You may not need one of those big-time marquee players.
We're trusting the process?
We are trusting the process.
Hey, just on Josh, though, he's just 20 years of age. Like, am I the only one that just keeps going, how is this kid 20 and playing like he is? Everyone said he had second-year blues, but Copes proved them wrong.
He's very mature for his age. And we've seen him when growing up. He was like that coming in. We just didn't expect him to be this good this early. But, man, he's a superstar waiting to happen, and he's gonna make a lot of money in the next couple of years. Josh, let me borrow a couple of dollars.
I don't think you need them, Copes. Hey, we need to talk about the Brooklyn Nets because since KD went down with injury, they've gone 0-3, and things got a little bit heated today against the Spurs.
Oh, yes.
Just check out this little scuffle here. A little bit of a throwdown. Sohan and Morris just getting to know each other a little bit, but
Man wasn't playing. He said, "Cop that, Morris." That's a takedown.
You hit him with the elbow, though, Joey. Come on now.
Is it a case of the young rookie just getting in the face of an annoying and old veteran, a wily veteran, Kane?
Well, it doesn't take much to get Markieff Morris a little bit on edge. We've seen that from time to time over the course of his career. But we should say with the Nets, no KD, but no Kyrie Irving today as well against the Spurs. And the reality is that's about 60 points from your offense. They're going to struggle to win if both of those guys are out.
All right, still plenty more to come on the jump. Stay with us. Truth or Trash is next. We'll talk about that Ja Morant dunk, of course. But before we get to that, it's time now for the NBL Plays of the Week.
Kings by 3. Harvey from a mile out. Oh, my! Tyler Harvey ties it up.
Yes, but this time it is from the car park.
That's outrageous.
That was almost Jack Coward type territory.
Stewart. What a bag! Puts it down on Will McDowell-White. Oh, my goodness. Took it off from deep. Blowing by Derek Pardon. And then up and over. Will McDowell-White takes the slap to the face.
Just the 6th turnover on the night for the 36ers. Looking pretty good in that area.
And he throws it down on top of Dingaku. Thiller's loving it. Challenge from Mathiang at the rim. And Rita at the other end, blocked by Hogue.
Great rim protection by Hogan.
Easy outlet pass for another dunk. Get the champion. So here it is as the block. Across that center line.
Great to have your company here on the jump. Thanks to Hungry Jacks, the burgers are better. We want to talk about Jason Tatum because he joined the 50-point club this season, 51 against the Hornets. And you're right, everyone is nearly on this list. There are 12 players this season who have scored 50 or more points in a game. It's absolutely wild. Why the surge, Gazey?
Well, I think because the league is getting softer, the officiating is getting more helpful, even more helpful for the offense. And these days, that you're watching these games at the pace of play, there's just more possessions. But as I think we mentioned earlier in the show, this year, there's already been 16 50-point games. Embiid's been one.
He's had two.
He's done it twice. Last year, in total, there were 19. So they're going to beat that for sure, you would think. The year before that was 14. So it's on the rise because of the pace of play, the way in which these players get protected.
What would Michael Jordan score? Be honest.
He would have
100.
And Kobe.
He would have a chance to get 80. Those two could get 80.
Easy.
Well, maybe not easily. It's never easy to get 80.
It's easy to get 50.
But
it's easy to get 50 these
50
days.
these days is
50 piece.
probably 35 back in the day is equal to a 50 these days.
Well, Joel Embiid is a very talented man, not only on the basketball court, but he's got a little bit of style when it comes to dancing. Check this out. Look at him. Just little head nod just going with the cheerleaders behind.
Oh, the opposition ones too. They're in Utah, are they?
Yep, look at this. Oh, nice motorbike.
Not a lot going on in Utah, trust me. Not a lot going on in Utah.
Hopes, I reckon that would have been you back in the day.
No.
That's a fine. I bet you he got fined for that.
Wait, he was on court.
Would you find it?
At the timeouts, they're told you must stay in the bench.
Drew, that was 50 years ago back when you played.
You were
now
in
you
the
can
NBA
walk.
in the 70s. At least I was in the 90s. You were not allowed to go out there. You're not allowed to, Copes.
I think he might have got fined if he jumped on that motorbike and took that for a spin. I think he's fine just shrugging the shoulders a little bit. I think that's okay.
All right, it is time now for Truth or Trash.
Here we
Our
go.
favourite time of Wednesday night. We're going to keep this one punchy because we've got plenty to get through. Gazey, you're up first.
Punchy.
Ja Morant could revive the NBA dunk contest because I've watched this about 50 million times this week.
Yes.
Let's check it out again.
It is. This is one of the more spectacular ones that we've seen by the great Ja Morant. He's coming in and look at the pullback, Copes. Look at the way he pulls it back and just yokes it so hard. I mean, it had a bit of Xavier Cooks about it, the way he went about it. And it is spectacular. I'd love to see him in a dunk
Like he
contest.
freezes.
And as great as he is, though...
Look at the bench. Look at the bench.
When was the last time we saw a good dunk contest?
Never.
I don't know if anyone could be able to create the dunk contest. You see so many misses, so many crazy stuff. They're bringing in cars, they're bringing in props, they're doing all that type of
It's funny
stuff.
that you get people that can't dunk that
Excuse me.
complain about the dunk contest. He
Google me.
complains.
Google me.
You
Rising
notice
up
me?
above.
I haven't said a word.
Thank you, Kane.
I haven't
Thank
said
you,
a
Kane.
word.
Thank you.
I'm not talking about the dunking.
Hey, Copes, truth or truth, or not truth.
Yeah.
There's a bit of both.
Yeah.
It's truth or trash.
Yes.
Phil Handy, our good friend Phil Handy.
Yep.
He needs to back down a little bit, perhaps, when the superstars are going at you, like we saw with Russell Westbrook, because you could be out of a job when a guy's on 50
bro.
million. Look at our man Phil. Russ is not happy.
Look at Phil. Hey, look, brother. I went off on LeBron. Don't you know who I am? I'll tell you where to go, when to sit, and when to stand up. And Russ, it ain't like you've had a great year. You this close to getting traded. You better just shut your mouth. All right, that's Phil Handy. That's my boy. Love him.
No, that's
That was
you've
good.
got to. No matter how much they are, if you're going to be a coach, you're going to lose a lot of credibility if you don't go back at them and say, hey, there's certain times you've got to toe the line. And Phil's, we know he comes all the meek and mild, but we know that he can turn it on.
Yes, sir. All right, now Nat.
Yes.
Truth or trash? You know the NBL has made it when you see this.
Has made it.
They've made it.
They've made it.
Bloody oath, they've made it. Look at this, if you don't mind. Aussie basketball fans are going to be able to don NBL jerseys for the first time ever in-game in NBA 2K23. The league and 2K with a new partnership. How cool is that?
Have they made it? Have they made it?
They've made it.
All righty.
Bloody
I don't
oath,
see
they've
too
made
many
it.
other leagues running around.
Nah.
Is this the official NBA
Yes,
2K?
NBA 2K23, if you don't
Available on
mind.
PlayStation?
PlayStation 5. Maybe you
5?
should. Did you get one for Christmas?
I did not get one.
Neither did me and Kane.
That's bringing back memories of the 2K23 championship. That was well hosted.
That's right.
There's no
Yes,
doubt
well
about
played
that.
to you. All right, Kane, you're up next. Truth or trash? This kid is the next you.
Oh, what?
Let's have a look.
Who's that?
Queen.
That's right. Who's that?
Kobe.
That's right. Who's that?
That's Curry.
That's right.
I think it's this.
Anthony Davis. That's right.
Master Johnson.
Magic Johnson. That's right.
Dane/Wade.
Dwayne Flash Wade.
I can get this a purple.
That's right.
James Harden.
That's right.
Now I've got these,
That's not you, Kane. That's you 100%, bro.
That's you.
I've got these two clowns to my left laughing, but that's truth because listen here, fellas. Some people have the skill and some people can go and play the game, but other people like me, you just got to get the pronunciations down, learn the names, and you can find yourself sitting next to you guys and asking you stories. But what I will say, he does need to learn how to say Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't care how old you are.
Wow,
Work on it.
hard.
Work
How
on it.
hard it is.
Don't feel threatened.
I know.
Don't try to bring out the big guns now.
know,
I think it's
2-year-old.
actually Antetokounmpo.
No. This is the Nigerian version. There's two versions. We're working on that.
Yep.
Next year's commercial.
I'm reading Giannis's book, and Kane is correct.
Oh, here we
Thank you
go.
very much.
So
Nat.
what is it? There was a
Antetokounmpo.
Now, Gazey,
Yes.
we know that you love a big shot. And I've got this question for you. Truth or trash? Is this the shot of the year coming from Lithuania, I believe?
This is an absolute beauty, and it'd be close to it because it's got everything covered. A three-quarter shot
Top of
that
the
bounces off
backboard.
the top of the backboard. And somehow or other goes to the top of the backboard, bounces and goes off the backboard, and still nothing but cotton. Let's just have another look at this. It's
Tim
a legitimate
Lambrick.
sort of the car $100,000 competition. Now watch. It's the bounce at the top. Watch. Watching. Somehow or other, it bounces back. Nothing but cotton. Beautiful stuff. Not familiar with Lithuanian.
You're not?
Hey, now the last one for Nat. Truth or trash?
It's for me, I think.
Oh, you
Well, according to my friend here,
Okay, go to Nat.
Let's do it.
Nat, is this the hardest worker of the season? Have a look at this one. This is the hustle you need when you got a towel boy, I would have thought.
Hell yes, that is truth. Look at the hustle from this kid and he's getting in there, cleaning it up, making sure it's all good, and then look, sprint, get there, get there.
Why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? Look in the background, look in the
Oh, he's trying to impress LeBron.
I work harder than that every day.
That's not him next to him, going, there he is. That's why he's doing
I work harder than that
LeBron
every
was
day.
impressed.
Yeah, come on.
He was certainly impressed. All right, that was truth or trash. Stay with us on the jump. Phil Smyth is set to join us, of course.
Excuse me. Whenever you say his name, you must call him Phil the General Smyth.
Sorry, Phil
by
the
name.
General
There
Smyth,
you go.
Sports Australia Hall of Famer and basketball legend. He's set to join us. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back.
Emery Atkinson throwing it.
Working it quickly, purposefully. Smyth, a beauty.
Smyth on the break, too quick for Herbert, 2 points. What a play.
Great play from Phil Smyth.
Up over everything. I've never seen Phil Smyth play like this.
Have a look at it, 23-21 on this shot from Phil Smyth.
Welcome back to The Jump, and some magnificent highlights there of one of the absolute superstars of Australian basketball. He's done it for the national team. He's done it for a few teams in the NBL. 3 championships coached as a player, 3 championships as a coach, and a genuine star. There are stars, but he is a genuine
He looks
star.
like he's just chilling down in the garage. Look at him.
Chilling as he always does, and I speak none other than the legend, Phil Smyth. Phil, thanks for joining us.
What an absolute pleasure to be with you two blokes, I tell you.
Hey, Phil, we just saw some of those highlights. Can you cast your mind back? I know it was a long time ago, but cast your mind back to those playing days. You got the nickname The General because the way in which you were able to run teams. But when you look back at highlights like you see there and you see where the game has come, is it hard to see how the sport has transitioned?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I was impressed the commentator saying I was too quick for Herbert, but Herbert was probably one of the slowest players that played at that time. So I don't know if that was a big rap for me. But I think what you see now is so many more talented players, the athleticism of the guys today. The game is in just great shape.
Phil, I remember back in the day when I played, the first time I seen you, I think you were playing for Canberra, and you had the hair going across your head, and I'm thinking, who is this old man? I'm about to go past him. I couldn't get past you, Phil. You were one of the best defenders. You had the biggest hands, sliding your feet. Now, you watch the Adelaide 36ers, you live down there. What do you think these guys need to do to get this thing rolling? You've been in the game a long time.
Yeah, it's a really good question, Coach. And they're running out of time, aren't they? It's a bit of a logjam for that 6th spot at the moment. 2 teams out of Melbourne and us here in Adelaide. They don't move the ball well together. So it's pretty much one guy gets it, holds onto it. So it's really stagnant. Then when they take the shot, not really good rebound opportunity. So consequently, when the shot misses, the transition by the other team catches them. So they look poor defensively. So I think at the moment they're one of those teams, if they're shooting really well and they're hot, they're nearly impossible to beat. Without that, there's no B game.
And Phil, when you go back to your coaching days and the way in which you play, we see a lot of what you used to do back then still in the game now. You had that combination between letting the guys play and adding a bit of structure to it. How do you see it nowadays?
Yeah, I think it's starting to come back that way a little bit, but there's more of the shaky bakey, the one-on-one style of game. And I think we're a victim of the NBA highlights. We see that what Steph Curry can do and those kind of players, LeBron. So I think the younger players have emulated that and they've got away from moving the ball. I still think the best style of basketball is a combination of the European style and the American style.
And the shaky bakey, because we have a lot of people watching this. Just talk us through the shaky bakey.
Mate, is there anyone that could ask that question other than you? No one had better hip movement when we were stretching, mate, than you. So, the one where you put it between your legs, behind your back, between your legs again, behind your back, and you've really gone nowhere and you've probably dribbled the ball for 10 seconds and then you've got to go and shoot a quick shot.
Hey, Phil, just cast your mind back to your days with the national team, because one of my heroes when I was growing up watching you, and I can still remember the embrace that you had with me old man in the Moscow Olympics after you beat Italy. Just could go through no three-point line back then, playing with Ian Davies, Eddie Palabinska, spent some time with him. What was that like?
Yeah, well, they were great times. And again, the game's evolved enormously. I don't think your dad, and I'm a massive fan of your dad. I don't think he gets the credit for what he was able to do in a short window. You've basically got guys on a weekend, maybe 3 times a year, then a quick 5-day camp, and then you're playing at the Olympic Games. To be able to compete with a team like Italy that we're talking about in 1980, that was one of the powerhouses of world basketball then. So for us to beat them was a great moment. And, your dad, he never really got out of his chair too much. He said he was always worried if he got up, someone would steal it and he wouldn't be able to sit back in it. But, for him to be emotive in that moment shows how important that was. And that's where the game has changed a little bit now, in that, the coaches get more, there's more talent, there's more of everything. So your dad maybe had 2 or 3 talented guys, and now you're playing against teams that have got 7 or 8. So to beat those kind of teams, he probably didn't get the accolades he deserved to coach a team to be able to perform in that short space of time and get some of the results that we got.
Now, speaking of the national team, Australia has 10, 12 guys playing in the NBA now. How far along, how long would it take for these guys to win gold now in the Olympics?
Yeah, it's a great question, Coach. Look, I think the difficulty is, as you know, both you guys, and Drew, you know it from your World Cup and Olympic experiences, that probably in that 2-week window, only 8 or 9 guys are going to get to play consistently. So you kind of look for those 3 players, 10, 11, and 12. They're probably more the role players, and they don't necessarily have to be the NBA. I think if we pick 12 NBA guys and they're all expecting to play, I think the team could fracture really quickly. There's certainly the talent now to push hard for that gold medal. We are right on the cusp with the talent that we've got, Brian coaching the team. Certainly we are so far ahead with the talent compared to any other team. This is our best chance coming up probably in the next 4 to 6 years.
Now, a little disappointed, Coach, because you've already got 2. That's a great questions from Phil, so I need to lift my game.
Mate, I have a question for you, Drew, because some of your questions always are great, mate. But
there we go.
You've travelled the world, mate. I wonder if you could just let Copes and some of the people know, because you played a bit of time in Greece, didn't you, mate?
I did. It's a lovely place to play. The Apollon Patra.
And
loved it.
One of the great things about you, mate, I've always admired when we travel, is your ability to try and blend in with the country that you're in, learn the language, understand the people.
I don't know where this is going.
My understanding is, mate, that some of the players, when you arrived in Greece, gave you some language lessons.
Yeah.
And then you met the president and the president's wife. Mate, can you tell us how that
No, it's probably not, because we do have, this is a very global audience we have, Phil. And if I'm to share that, it would have to be bleeped out, because I wasn't able to pick a lot of that up instantly like I had hoped. Hey, Phil, when you think of you, though, when you were coaching, you were voted by all the players and everyone that watched it. Here's the coach that players want to play for the most. What was when you look back and reflect on your coaching? How did that come about? How did that reputation of being that player's coach come about?
Oh, Drew, that's a great question. Better than coaching 2 good ones.
You got one.
Well, look, part of it is your relationship that you build with the players and them trusting you and you trusting them. And then part of your role, if you take away all the stuff that's said about coaching, as a coach, your job is to get the players to play as well as they can. The players' job is to play as well as they can. And you have to find the way to get the players to buy into that. So I think for us, a great assistant coach was Steve Browne. We were able to just get a great feedback from the players, use that. Then here's a system and a structure, but you've got freedom to play within that, to express yourself as players. So I think players enjoyed being able to have a structure and at the same time still have freedom to be the player they wanted to be.
Now, Phil, I want to get back to the 36ers. Now, every time I watch these guys on TV, it's a sellout crowd. The fans still love these guys. What's the word on the street? Are they expecting these guys to pick it up, or what's happening down there?
Yeah, I think basketball everywhere, though, is on a boom, isn't it? So we're in Adelaide, they love the basketball. We're riding on the back of that NBA, NBL boom that Larry Kesselman's done a great job with the league. So I think part of what you're saying is the people are expecting it. The owner came out at the start of the year and said it's finals or bust for us. So he was really bullish at the start of the year. Of course, they had that win over there in the preseason in the NBA against Phoenix. So there was a lot of excitement about the group. And so I think the state is behind them, expecting them to make the finals. And South Australia is one of those states, if you're winning and you're a chance, they're right there. If you don't deliver, then there's normally a fairly big penalty to pay if you don't make it.
And just when I think back to your coaching career, Phil, and like I said, 3 championships. Yeah, you had some great talent to go along with it, but how come we never saw you coaching again in the NBL? What is going on with the organisations out there that you never continue to get another opportunity?
Yeah, look, I think partly I really didn't want one. I actually wanted to finish coaching probably 2 or 3 years before I finished with the Sixers. But, you know, there was some financial trouble and we stayed to try and help the club through that. And then I had 3 young kids, so I wanted to stay in Adelaide and spend time with my family. And I never really explored it. Not to say I wouldn't do it again. And there's probably an opportunity. I reckon what I've learnt, Drewy, over time is that right place, right time, right people around you would be the only way to go back into it now.
Well, Phil, you have been in the right place, the right time when it comes to the national team, the club teams, and and coaching, and you've certainly been one of the all-time great contributors to Australian basketball. And they'll have a statue of you somewhere in South Australia, down there in the mall or something like that. He deserves it, Cope, I would have thought.
Hey, Phil, what's happening with this garage? What goes on in that little green garage of yours out there?
You're growing something in there.
Kid, I'm looking. You're having a go at my garage, and you blokes are wearing sand shoes for an evening. You've got to be kidding yourself. Don't go on, seriously.
Phil, General, they're the Gazeys.
Here we go.
$39 a big W.
They are selling like hotcakes over here in Adelaide, mate. A lot of the kids are buying them, and they reckon the boxes are better to wear than the shoes.
You're not growing anything in that little shed there, are you, Phil, that we can't show because we're very elevated. So I wasn't sure if there's something going on. Hey, we'll let you get back to whatever you do in the shed. But we appreciate your time. You've been a lot of fun, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Appreciate your time, boys. Always good to chat with you.
You're a good man.
Classic Andrew Gaze there. It wouldn't be an episode of The Jump without a plug for Gazeys. We'll be back to wrap up the show in just a moment. We're going to rewind the clock and talk about the good old glory days.
Oh, long shot there. Big basket. Peter Minnow.
Now, this is former Hobart Devil Calvin Talbot. He scored 50 points, if you don't mind, in his NBL debut. What do you remember of him, Gazey?
Well, I remember he had explosive hops, and there you see it there. And this is the dunk contest, the Uncle Toby's dunk contest back in the day. And the other thing I do remember, unfortunately for him, I think it was 94. He came 3rd in the top 10 dunks of the year. I come 2nd. So if you go on and check out my dunk just before it, Coach, you'll see some of his 3rd placing dunk as I came 2nd.
Do you remember what he had on the bottom of his shoe? Because I remember him dunking on you. You would have looked up to see what was on the bottom.
That's because I was prepared to sacrifice.
I wasn't.
I wasn't. On the rotation.
Yeah, because you were too slow to get out of the lane. That's what it was.
Hey, there is a magnificent interview with Calvin on nbl.com.au at the moment, so make sure you check that out. Now, it is Heritage Round, round 16 in the NBL this week. And as you can see here, this is Melbourne United.
Yes,
what else have you got?
Well, this is one of the original Sydney Kings. It's Derek Walton Jr.'s number 11. Actually, I think Steve Carfino was number 11, wasn't he? Perhaps. But that's one of the throwbacks for there. These are all available, I think, at the NBL
you can purchase
website.
Them.
Magnificent pieces of history.
Well, I'm going with the Perth Wildcats.
Ooh,
Manic.
Black and yellow.
Black and yellow, huh?
I like
Yellow,
it.
black and yellow.
82 did they come into the league?
Probably. You would know more than me. Yeah.
Something like
Where we got? Cairns Taipans, which, by the way, I think the Cairns Taipans overall, the best uniform set in the league. They've got some beautiful stuff going on. And
Colour
this is,
looks great, yeah.
the retro one's great as well. Keanu Pinder.
It's pretty
Very
good,
nice.
but you know what? This is the best
that's a
heritage
good
that we're
Number 10?
talking about. And, oh, no, sorry.
11.
Leonard.
What's
21, not 11. You're going blind, too?
This is the one I go to sleep in at night.
that's good to
Kane,
hear.
I just want to get a single shot of you.
Trying to end
What
the
is
show.
going on
I've
here?
got Gazey's sweaty pit on the shoulder. I can't figure out what shoulder it is. His sweaty pit.
97.
Get that out of me face, Gazey.
That is the 97 championship right there. Just the joy and excitement, the emotion.
MVP.
And Copes was the MVP in the Jane final.
Any
series.
thought to just a little wax?
Shave,
wax
wax.
shave?
Back in the day, they didn't do
Shave,
that.
shop, shave.
They didn't do that back in the day.
The young folk, I think, actually, do you...
Don't worry about me. We're talking about you in the bush back there. Bush Bill.
Bro!
Bush Bill back there. Don't worry about Copeland, son.
What are you...
I'm clean.
No.
Okay.
Gazey used the shaver shop shaver, and then he had a haircut. Remember that?
Yeah. All right, we've gone off the rails
Is
here.
that not cool?
No, I think you need to work.
Even for the blokes.
Yeah, you need to work on that.
wasn't
Thank you
aware
so
of
much
that.
for joining us on The
I'm gonna
Jump.
get some-
Enjoy the rest of your
bit of
week. Thank
knee.
you, everyone. We'll see you
Getting
next
some knees. Is that
Wednesday.
what it is?
See you guys.
Knee cream?